Me and ANALI have a pretty healthy sex life. Every time we've been together in Peru, it's been pretty frequent. So the lack of intimacy is a little concerning.
Está construido, el apartamento de Clayton es tan fino y no quiero que escuche su mamá todo. Creo que...
What's going on, people? We are back again with another Moving Mad video, and this one right here is all about Clayton and ANALI. And it's quite interesting because, you know, in this episode here, we meet Clayton's sister, and well, let's just say that her reception to ANALI wasn't exactly the best. It wasn't exactly the kindest. If anything, it was nothing but upright rude. But we know that last week ANALI finally arrived in the United States of America and Clayton was ready to get it down. But as you saw right there, he's like, hold on a minute, I'm a bit confused because we was getting it down this whole time we've been together. And you know what though, I don't know why I didn't think of this. But of course ANALI confirms and says, listen, why would I want to get frisky with him knowing that his mom is literally in the other room? These walls are thin, or at least she's trying to adjust them. You see what I'm saying? So to be honest with you, would you want to sleep with your partner for the very first time in their home, knowing that mummy is literally in the closet next door? Remember, not room, closet. And to be honest with you, if we're talking about the fact that she's in the closet, I can imagine exactly how thin those walls are. So really and truly, it is quite irritating and quite interesting how Clayton hasn't really put that in his own mind that maybe it's just because his mom's in the house and she can hear everything. And let's not forget the pets too. I mean, I guess it's not a big deal, but I don't know, man. Some people may feel a bit funky about pets being in the house and maybe they walk in the room. I don't know, man. You know what I mean? But either way, though, let's get down to the nitty and gritty of exactly what else went down in this episode.
Cuando iniciamos una relación con Clayton, es que fue muy pronto todo. Es que, ¿cómo le podía decir a mi papá que estoy comprometida cuando eran 4 días de conocerlo?
Tenemos 3 meses, 90 días para casarnos.
Pero él no va a saber eso, pues.
Sí, pero eso es otra mentira. Like,
Me gusta que me presione, porque si tú me presionas es como, ya no quiero hacerlo.
Pero estoy pidiendo por años, pues.
The matter of fact is, though, if I'm with someone and they haven't told their family about me, and we are now on a journey of getting married, why would I even put myself in a position to want to marry that person in the first place if I know that I'm a secret to their family? Because if I'm a secret to their family, but I know that that person is close to their family, those two things don't make sense. There's a fine line between someone that's not close to the family and doesn't want to tell their family because of, you know, whatever reasons, right? Cool. But if you're close to your family and you don't want to tell your family about me, I don't give a damn what reasons you have. That is a problem, because if you're close to your family, that means I know that you value your family's opinion. It means I know that your relationship with your family is super tight. So I know, if anything, the approval from your family should be the #1 priority for you. So the fact that you don't want to tell your family about me, knowing that we're close, that is something in particular for me personally is a massive red flag, because it clearly says that either 1, you're not willing to put me first, maybe. 2, maybe you're not willing to risk it all so we can be together, maybe, you know what I mean? Either way, it just doesn't scream that you're doing anything that shows me that you really care about our relationship, because you're too worried about how somebody else is going to react. But here's the thing though, if you're close to your family, you know, really and truly, well, look at this way, no matter who you decide to be with, they should react in the best way. Of course, unless you're with someone that is a complete red flag, then it's a different conversation, do you see what I'm saying? But again, it is all very subjective depending on the situation. But in this situation here, she's coming away from Peru. You know, if you marry, she's going to get a green card. I mean, to be honest with you, do I feel like she's there for the green card? I don't have a clue, because I haven't really judged her character just yet. We know very minimal of her. But I will say this though, the fact that he wants to go along with marrying someone who can't even be open to their own family that she's close to, for me personally, I'll be putting the brakes on and saying, you know what, we can carry on chilling, but we're not getting married until I'm introduced to your family. And it's not even the fact of him even being accepted by the family, it's the fact that at least the family knows that he exists. Nobody wants to be with someone and know that they're a secret to their family or their friends. That's just the bottom line. But we continue.
Know nothing about ANALI. It is weird that I don't know anything about her just because of the fact that me and Clayton are fairly close. Maybe he's not telling me things about her because he thinks I will probably be a bitch.
You know, being honest, you have typically had like problems with my ex-girlfriends or like girlfriends at the time. So I didn't want to tell you too much about her because I don't want you to have something in your head when you guys meet.
So if you're taking this situation as an example, you know, Clayton hasn't told his sister about ANALI purely because he knows how his sister is going to react. But he's still open to the fact that his sister's eventually going to still at least meet ANALI. You see what I'm saying? So at least we know that he's got the intention, he's always had the intention of introducing her to the sister. But let's be real though, the fact that he's already introduced ANALI to his mother anyway, which I guess he couldn't avoid, already speaks volumes about obviously how he wants to include it, how he wants to bring it into his family. But the fact that she's doing none of this is a problem. And look at it this way, he knows that his sister's a very challenging person, but he's still not going to avoid his sister knowing that he's got someone. Meanwhile, for ANALI now, she's completely avoiding family members knowing about him in general. So look at it this way, if I'm putting effort of introducing you to a sister that I know is going to be very challenging, but you're not putting effort into introducing me into your family, can be very challenging. We can have a debate about and a conversation about it, about how it's different and all that kind of stuff, but it's all very subjective depending on the situation. But either way, in this situation, I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, you know what, I don't feel valued by you. And to be fair, his sister does go on to say that he has been cheated on before as well. So if anything, Clayton right now is someone that seems to be very, very desperate to just want to have ANALI in his life, rather than actually, recognize that maybe, just maybe, she may not appreciate him as much as he appreciates her. Or maybe she's not willing to risk their relationship as much as he is willing to risk it himself, if that makes sense. And when I say that, what I mean is he's willing to be with ANALI regardless of the fact that his sister may not approve. The question is, can she give him the same reassurance? Again, it's subjective, and I understand because there's a difference between a father and a sister. But from what I understand, her whole family right now seem to not know that he exists. Because that seems to be the conversation right now. I haven't heard anything about, well, so-and-so knows about him and that person knows about him. It's literally father doesn't know about him. And it gives me the perspective that nobody knows about him, which it's a problem. But we continue.
On social media, and I was wondering why there's no posting of you on her page, but she's all over yours.
Like, she doesn't want to post things publicly because of her dad.
So her dad doesn't know that you guys are together?
No. Her dad is like a worrying type person, but if he had known...
So is she, and she knows.
Yeah, I know, but I know it doesn't sound good to me either.
Yeah, and it's crazy because you're now in a situation where even your sister, who's the one who's going to have issues, right, is even identifying, well, we know, mom knows, and we are people that are very challenging. So what's the problem? Do you know what I mean? And I think it speaks even more volumes when even your family is legit giving that reaction of, well, we aren't exactly the ones that are very, easy to please anyway, you know what I mean? But you still told us. That's why it's very important that when you're with someone, you got to make sure that the energy that you're giving is energy that you're receiving back in some similar form of way. There's no point of putting energy that you're not receiving at all. Why? It's just gonna drain the hell out of you that you're not receiving the same energy.
I don't want to beat around the bush. Like,
Okay.
How do I know that she's just not here for a green card?
Saying that if that were the case, she wouldn't have left her family. I can't imagine her faking something like that for 2.5 years.
I can.
I don't think that she would be able to fake something that long.
Which is why I guess the sister was brought to the question, and to be fair, the question was always coming, especially after finding out that, well, the brother is a secret to the family. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, why are you here? Are you here because you want to be with my brother, because you love him? Or are you with him because, well, you want a green card? And to be fair, she makes a very good point that a lot of people will wait out a very, very long time to get the green card. There's a lot of people that understand that the green card does not come overnight. We've seen how long it took for Jasmine to get to the States. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying that Jasmine's using Gino for a green card. I'm just putting a perspective out there that look how long it took her to get to the States. You see what I'm saying? It took a very long time. I mean, Michael is still waiting until this day, So there is still that aspect too. So, we can't act as if getting a green card is something that happens overnight, and also depending on where you are as well in the world or which country you're coming from, that also can be an obstacle as well. So really and truly, Clay needs to wake up that just because she's been with you for like 2 years or whatnot, it doesn't mean that she's not looking for it. Like, bro, it doesn't mean that at all. There's a lot of people that are more than happy to waste a certain amount of years of their life just to get what they want. And then once they get what they want, they're out of here. So he does need to wake up to that. But again, for me right now, do I believe that she's with him for the green card? I am not going to say an opinion just yet because I feel like it's too early because we've seen it for like 2 episodes, if that, you know what I mean? And we're not really getting too much of a vibe from her. So I'm gonna let her character kind of marinate a little bit, you know what I mean? A bit more in the season. And then I'm going to give my perspective whether I think she's with him for the wrong reasons or not. Because right now, I couldn't tell you, but yeah, it's still a good question regardless. But let's get it.
You the most, what concerns you?
I'm just over it.
So is that like a nothing? Like what answer is
It's
that?
fine. Get married.
That's
I think she's probably pissed at me, and a little bit of me doesn't give a. I love my brother, and I do think that maybe he is blinded by love a little bit, and so he is missing some red flags.
But you see this right here? This, for me personally, was the big question mark. Why did his sister stand up and storm off and so emotional? I didn't understand that. And it's not like she's drunk at this point, you know what I mean? She's still pretty much quite sober. Maybe now she's probably quite sober to be fair with you. And even before she got up, she was all teary. So I don't know if she's upset with the fact that Clayton just didn't tell her about ANALI properly, you know? If is that the reason why she's upset? She feels locked out, you know what I mean? Not being let in. Or is she upset with the fact that she feels like another woman's come into her brother's life who may just be using her again because she said that before he's already been cheated on anyway. So she's not very, she's very protective when it comes to her brother being used by other women or being taken advantage of. So maybe she's upset because she's not getting answers she wants, and therefore she's gonna start crying and being like, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. It's a bit of a sticky one, right? But then at the same time, I sit here and I know this one's the most wildest one, but I've just got to say it because, boy, it's a possibility in this world nowadays. But there's also a possibility where maybe she's just crazily in love with her brother, and that's why she's a bit about other women being in his life, because he's already said that no matter the woman he's brought in his life, he says he's always been jealous. Which could mean one or two things. Either one, she's actually crazy in love with him and she's way too unprotected for reasons, or two, it's just a case of where he's generally always brought around women that are not good for him. Because, I mean, to be fair, Clayton definitely seems like the type of person, in my opinion, that will probably go and seek women in certain areas, knowing that he can get a certain quality that he can, you know, take advantage of because of his status as either being an American or status as maybe even being someone who's got a lot of money. Because I feel like he's probably someone that's probably doing a job that's probably paying him quite well, if anything. So I do wonder why Caesar has this this persona, you know, she has this, not persona, sorry. She has this thing in her head that every woman that comes in his life just isn't good for him. And I do wonder, is it because there's something that he offers that she feels women only want from him? But then at the same time, though, does she always feel like maybe her brother gets women that are out of his league, which is kind of a mean thing, isn't it, really? And truly, be like, oh God, my brother ain't all that, but he's getting all these women. God damn. So maybe they're only opting for like, I don't know. But I guess we'll find out more about the sister, obviously, as the season goes on. But right now, her attitude for the crying? Questions. But hey, thank you so much for your time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.